think about what adversity faced the Raptors in this series. The Raptors trailed this series 2-0. In game number 2, they had their hat handed to them. They were licking their wounds. People were talking about getting swept, short series. And in game number 3, they had a chance to end the Bucks at the end of regulation and couldn't. The Bucks survived to overtime. They had a chance to end the Bucks at the end of the first overtime. They couldn't. Milwaukee survived to the second overtime. And you just kept feeling as though, well, the Bucks were going to break the will of the Raptors. And then you had down 2-1, the Raptors completely outplay the Bucks in every facet in game number 4 to knot it up at 2 apiece and to send a real message to Milwaukee to rattle their confidence. And then yesterday on the road in a game 5, a pivotal game, trailing by double digits in the second half on the road, and the Raptors came back to win. All of those moments that the Raptors came back in the face of that adversity, I don't think the Bucks would have done. I'll put it this way, role reversal. Do I think Milwaukee comes back from a double-digit deficit in the second half in Toronto in that game last night? The answer is no. And at the end of that game last night, how many bad possessions were there by the Bucks? How many bad possessions or bad shot selections were there by the Bucks? You had Chris Middleton driving down the floor with an open road to a layup, down 3, granted, but take the easy 2. Instead, kicks out to Malcolm Brogdon, who dribbles it off of his own leg. Had Middleton taken it to the rack, now you're down 1. Again, you can play the free throw game. And then on the defensive end, unable to get a stop, slipping down the floor, allowing Fred VanVleet to have an open three-pointer to break the tie. Every time there needed to be a swing possession or a big stop or a big bucket by Milwaukee, they folded. And I just believe that for the first time ever, the Toronto Raptors are the mentally tough team. And I think they're going to finish this off, and I did not think that before game number 5. I thought Milwaukee was going to get their 2 games at home. But every turn since the end of game 2, the Raptors have stared down a tough situation and answered the bell. And Milwaukee just hasn't. For the first time, I think, ever. We know the Raptors for raptoring. We know Toronto for coming up small in big spots. We know the Raptors consistently have not been the mentally tougher opponent. They are in this series. And maybe that's all because of Kawhi. Maybe that's because they've shaken things up and brought in Marc Gasol and others. Maybe the addition of Danny Green. Maybe it's the hiring of Nick Nurse. Whatever it is, this team right now is the mentally tougher team.